I'm going to be showing you guys how to move a block in Godot using Tween. So my example here, I click this, it moves up. I click it again and it moves down. And we can utilize this for all sorts of mechanics, such as like a piston moving up and down or a platform moving back and forth, however you want to use it, but I'll show you how to create it. So the first thing you want to do is you can go ahead and download my template file from the description below. But all it has is a character body 3D with a raycast and a camera, and then it has a level and some basic lighting. If you already have that, that's good. We can work with that. So let's go ahead and create a few things. We're going to create a button that we'll click, and then we will also create the movable block. So let's go ahead and create the button. We'll create a child node. This one's going to be a static body 3D since the button won't be moving at all. We'll add a mesh instance 3D, and then we'll go ahead and set this. We'll just set it to a prism so that we know which one is the button. And then let's go ahead and set a collision shape. We'll leave it as the default. And we'll rename this to button so we know which is which. Now let's go ahead and add another child node, and this one's going to be an animatable body 3D. We'll go ahead and create a mesh instance 3D as well, and we'll create a box mesh. Then we'll also create a collision shape as well. Now that we have both of these, we can start scripting a little bit. I'll go over a brief overview of our character body. We just have a raycast in there. We have some variables that are set up to define those. And then down here we have an activate that will get the raycast and what it's colliding with and tell it to interact with our function that we define. So we can go over here to our animatable body 3D. We can rename it. I'll name it movable block. So now we can go over here to our button, click on add a new script. We'll name it button. Now we'll come over here and we'll put an export. So export variable mesh to move equals node 3D. So we're going to assign this later, and this is going to be our mesh to move, which will make it our movable block. So we can go ahead and assign that. We'll just drag it over into this mesh to move. That's what this is calling to. Then we'll do a variable for our toggle, colon equals 1. So what this is going to do is we're creating a toggle here. It's going to toggle between 1, 2, or 3, depending on what the transition of the movable block is. That way, if somebody spams the button a lot of times, it's not going to continually be trying to move back and forth and mess up the transition. So let's create a function here. Function interact. This is what is the character is calling to. So we're detecting if it has this interact function. And so since it does, it's going to call to it. Then we'll say if toggle equals 1, then we're going to set our toggle to 3, where we can't really interact with it when it's on 3. And then we'll create our new tween. Create tween. And then we'll create a variable for the target position. Target pose equals mesh to move dot position dot y plus 2. So this target position, I'm getting where our object is, and then I'm going to be adding 2 to the y, so it's going to be moving up. Then we'll say tween dot set trans tween dot trans, and you can set whatever transition type you'd like. I like the look of elastic, but that's just up to you. Tween dot between property, mesh to move, comma, position, colon Y, and then we'll add a comma, target, pose, comma, 1. And then we can do await between dot finished. So it's just going to wait for it to finish the transition, and then we're going to set our toggle to 2. Now that's going to move it up, but if we wanted to move it down, we need to create the opposite version. So I'll copy all of this, and then right here we'll do else if, so el if toggle equals 2. We'll set the toggle to 3, and then down here we need to set it back to 1. And then over here we're going to subtract it from the Y, and then we should be good there. So one thing to check and make sure is our collisions. So the interaction rate is on 2, but we can go ahead and make sure it's on 1, and make sure that these are on the same collision layer. And then if we hit play and we click on it, it should go up. Click on it again, and it's going to go down. Now if I click it a bunch of times, it's not going to keep on trying to move up or down because we set in those toggles on our script. And so that's how you move a block in Godot.